friends, welcome back to another fun tutorial here at Quilt 101. Today we have a fun collaboration that we're doing with Carolina Moore over at Craft More. She designed this beautiful zipper pouch. Look how pretty it is! I love it. So today we're going to take you step by step on how to piece the top of this, how to attach the fusible lining, how to do the zipper, and just look at that lining. How beautiful is that? So these are available in our pre-cut quilt kits, and I think we just go ahead and get started. What do you think? Let's go. So here is everything that will come in your kit. So you're going to get the pattern by Carolina Moore, and this is double-sided with all the instructions on it. You're going to get all of the fabric. So these are all the fabrics for the tops. There's a lot, so I'm just going to move it over like this. We also have the fusible fleece, and look at this gorgeous lining for the inside. It's just absolutely beautiful. And can you just look at all these teeny little pieces? There's a lot, and we do all of the cutting. This also comes with a zipper and a zipper pull. Look how gorgeous this is. This is actually from Italy. Found this from a seller on Etsy. Let's see if it can focus. Maybe not, but it's a little zipper pull that says handmade, and this is what you attach to the zipper, and it is just so cute. So this is everything that will come into your zipper pouch pre-cut kit. And so let's just go ahead and get started. The first thing we're going to do is take the 2 5/8 square of fabric 1, and we're going to take these, sorry I have to look at my notes, 2 3/8 triangles of fabric B. And so what we're going to do is this is going to create the very center of the star. So we're going to eventually sew all of these little triangles on, and so it kind of creates this effect. So kind of see where I'm getting? How cute is that? So the first thing we're going to do is just work with 2 sides. So I have the square right here, and I'm going to go to my sewing machine, and I'm going to take one end. I'm going to just turn it so it's right sides together, center it as best as I can. You should have about 1/4 inch on either side right here. And then I'm also going to stitch this on to that end right there. Here are those pieces sewn, and so now we're just going to take it to the ironing board, and I'm just going to press them until the triangles face out. So now that this piece is ironed, we're just going to repeat the same. Oh, my nails are so long right now. I'm having such a hard time picking them up, and they're even not long, but for me they are like, I can't even function. It's crazy. I like really short nails. So anyways, like I was saying, we're just going to go and we're going to repeat the same thing by sewing these other triangles onto the other ends. We're going to stitch it and then press them open. The center unit is all sewn together. One tip whenever you're working with small pieces like this, make sure to starch. That is going to help a ton, or else the fabric is kind of like floppy, and it just kind of gets like a little wonky. So make sure that you use starch whenever you're ironing all this. So we need to square this center unit up to 3.5 by 3.5 inches. So I have this little square up ruler right here. This is from Riley Blake. It's a Cute Cuts, and it's a perfect little square up ruler for projects like this. So I am just going to do my best to square this up. You can see right here there's a 1/4 inch mark on all of like around the border. I'm going to make sure that these like corners of the center unit are right there. There we go. All right there. So that way that will kind of help us to get nice crisp corners whenever we, whoop, okay, tripod is like right in my way. It's going to bounce for a second. Hold on. Oh, I lied. I'm just going to move you. Bring you right back. Okay. So now we're just going to cut all the way around, trim off all that excess. And there we go. Our center unit is done. Next, we're going to make flying geese units. And to do that, we're going to take these 4 3/16 triangles, as well as the 2 3/8 triangles. And for each flying geese, we're going to take 1 of the fabric, or I'm just going to call it the background fabric, and 2 of the prints. And we're just going to work with 1 for now. So we're going to take this, and then we're going to flip it right sides together. And then I'm going to actually line this up right here on the bottom. So then it'll kind of go past about 1/4 inch on the top. And now I'm just going to top stitch right here and then press it open, and I will be back. So here is one side, and so now we're just going to go through and add this to the other side. Here's the one finished flying geese unit. So we're now, whoops, I got a little knot on there, ignore that. We're just going to go and repeat this 3 more times. We need 4 of these units in total. Just finished piecing all of the flying geese. Same as with the center unit, make sure that you are using starch when you iron these. It just helps everything to stay nice and flat and crisp, which is what you want right now while you're piecing and trimming everything up. So we just need to trim up these flying geese units 2 by 3.5. And so I have this little ruler right here. This one's a little bit more difficult, but we'll get it. Now that everything is nice and trimmed up, we're going to start assembling the center block of the pouch. So I'm just going to follow the instructions right here. It just makes a really pretty little star shape. First, I'm going to close that blade because that is dangerous. Okay, lay all of this out. And then we're also going to grab these 2-inch squares and put those in the corner. Look how cute it's coming together. All right, so now that we have these pieces, I'm just gonna go and sew all of the rows together, and then I'll show you that once we have the rows, we'll just sew everything together. So let me go do that. Here are the rows sewn together, and you can see the way I ironed it. Has this in the instructions. My bobbin is like super wonky, you guys. I don't know. I switched it out and it was fine. But so you can see that for the center block, the seams are going in, and then for the top and bottom, the seams are going out. So that will help us nestle everything together. So let's just go ahead and sew this up. Ta-da! Look how pretty it is. It is all pressed. Now we just need to square it up. So this squares up to 6.5 inches. So I happen to have a 6.5 inch square up ruler. Honestly, you guys, if you're just getting started out and you don't have, all of the 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, whatever, like square up rulers, I would recommend getting a one larger square up ruler, maybe a 9.5 or 10.5, and you can square all of the smaller blocks up with the larger ruler. So I would recommend doing that if you are in the market for one. But this is going to be really tight for me, but I am just going to go and square up the stuff that I can. So now that the center square is all squared up and done, we're going to add these side pieces. So these are the 3.5 by 6.5. We're just going to add those on either sides. We're going to sew those, and then we're going to add the top and bottom border as well. It looks short right now, but I promise once you take the seam allowances into consideration, it works. So we're just going to go and I'm going to sew all that up. We have the top together. Look how good it looks. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. So now we are gonna so I'm at the ironing station, obviously. So we have the top. We're also gonna grab, this is the back of the bag, and we're gonna grab the 2 pieces of the iron-on fusible fleece. So we're going to we're gonna press this fusible fleece on it. So we're going to have the wrong side down, and then we're going to take the fusible fleece, and then on one side is really soft and one side is rough. So that rough side is where the glue is at. So we're going to turn glue side down, so that way it glues itself onto the back. And I just kind of center it. I leave a quarter, I cut the fusible fleece a 1/4 inch short on all sides on purpose, because that way whenever you go to sew everything together, you're not, whenever you go to like turn it out, you're not having to mess with as much bulk. So that's really, it's really nice. One thing as well with this fleece, it like adheres much better whenever it's wet. So I just sprayed some water on it, and I'm just taking my iron and I just hold it down for, I don't know, 5-10 seconds per spot. We're going to be quilting all of this anyways, so if it's not held on perfectly, the stitching from the quilting will hold it on, but we're just going to do the best we can right now. So we're just going to do this to the front and back side. To quilt this, I'm just going to do really simple quilting, just kind of following the lines and that are on here already. So I just have, this is a hair marker. It is awesome. It's a piece of plastic and it's really sharp on one end, so you can mark things and the line will show up. So that way you don't have to use a pen or a marker or anything that can, I don't know, has a little bit more of a risk to it. So I am just taking my my cutting ruler and my hair marker, and I am just gonna mark, so you can see right there, there's my one line, and I am just going a 1/4 inch out from where those lines are. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mark this, and then I'll meet you back at the sewing machine. The sun is starting to come in, so it's getting really bright in here, but I've finished marking all of the lines on the top, and so now I am just going to adjust the stitch length to about 3.5. On my machine, that's kind of the length that I like. I like it to be a little bit longer than your normal like stitching length. And so now I'm also going to center the needle, and so it's in the middle of my foot, and then in the middle of my foot right here there is a little line, and that line is what I am going to use to line up with the marks that I did. I'm just going to use that as a guide. And then we're just going to go ahead and stitch on top of all of those lines we marked and get this quilting done. Look how dang cute that top turned out. I absolutely love it. Before we sew the zipper and the lining on, I am going to go through and just do a final square up and trim off all of those like loose threads on the end. So now I am just going to quilt the backing. And you guys, you can really do it as simple or as intricate you want. I just drew using my ruler and that hair marker. I just have every 1 inch I drew a line going down. So I'm just going to quickly stitch this together, and then we'll be ready to start adding the zipper and the lining and doing the final assembly. It's gonna be good. Now is the fun part of attaching the 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 zipper. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have one of the lining pieces. How beautiful is this fabric? It is the same fabric that is used for the star on the top. So we're going to take a piece of the lining and we're going to have it right side up. Now we're going to take the zipper and have it right side up as well, and we're going to kind of center it on that lining. Now we're going to take one of the outside pieces and we're going to turn it right side down. And now we're going to line up this edge right here that has all three of those layers. I'm just going to clip these in place so they don't move. And then we're going to take it to the sewing machine, and using a zipper foot, we will sew these three layers together. Now, a sewing foot or a zipper foot is something that every machine should come with automatically. So you might just have to dig through some of your old supplies if you've never used one, but it should be there. My zipper foot is attached and I have adjusted my needle so it is in there correctly. And so now we're just going to line up those three layers that should be pinned. And then we're going to use the edge right here of the sewing foot, and kind of, it's going to nestle up, like line up with the edge of that zipper. And so then you just are going to sew straight down, and you'll be able to feel where the zipper is underneath, and you just want to make sure the edge of that foot just runs right along with it. Okay, I'm coming up to where the zipper is. So I am going to just, you might have to, lift your needle up, just kind of like zip it down, and then you can continue sewing. Okay, here is one side done. Look how good that looks. And then here's the back with the lining. So now let's go attach the other side of the zipper. We are just going to do the same thing with the other side of the zipper. So we're going to take a piece of lining, have it right side up, zipper right side up, and then the other, this is the still the outside of the pouch, we're going to put wrong side down. Sometimes it's easier for me to line everything up with it facing this way. And same thing, you just want to make sure everything is lined up and centered. And we're just going to pin those layers together, and we're going to sew it on the exact same way that we did the last time. Here goes the other side, just doing the same thing, just making sure all three of those layers are all lined up, and then we're just going to follow the edge of the zipper right there, just sew straight across. All right, the zipper should be fully attached now. Okay, so here's the lining, and then whenever you go to open it up, look at that. Oh, like I said, the sun is so bright right now. How pretty is that? It's coming together. I am just going to go through and top stitch right here along each of the zipper seams. That just kind of helps all the fabric lie down and doesn't kind of bunch up whenever you move the zipper back and forth when you use it. So I'll just go top stitch along those right there. Here are the top stitches. You can see them right there. You see them? There we go. So I just top stitched on either side of the zipper, and now we are going to start, let's get this focused, there we go. We're going to start sewing making the actual pouch. So very, very important. You're going to open the zipper pouch at least halfway, maybe 3/4 of the way. You want this to stay open because that's how you're going to flip it inside out at the end. And so now we are going to take the two top pieces, fold those right sides together, and the two lining pieces and fold those right sides together. And now we are going to pin around the entire perimeter. And there we go. For the zipper, Just want to make sure I'm kind of folding it in on itself right there and clipping. Do it on the other side as well. And now we're going to go around the perimeter and pin all the way around. We are going to make sure to leave a opening though, like a 3 to 4 inch opening on the lining on this end. A fun little trick a follower told me a couple years ago, and I just have never forgotten it, and it is just the funnest little tip. So we are going to take a red and green clip, and this is what is going to kind of symbolize start and finish. So that way we know whenever we get to the red clip that we are going to stop. I thought that was so fun. So now that we have everything all nice and clipped together, I'll probably add one more right here. We're going to take this to the sewing machine and we're going to stitch a little bit more than 1/4 inch, maybe like 1/3 of an inch around the entire perimeter, making sure to leave that gap right here. My seam allowance is set just a little bit bigger than 1/4 inch. So I have the start, I have my green little clip back there. Actually gonna make, oops, I accidentally cut. Supposed to back stitch, let's go back. I am just going to back stitch because you're gonna want that extra reinforcement whenever you go to turn things right side out. So once we get to the corner, we're going to pivot. Just kind of make sure that this fabric, the layer, stay as lined up as much as possible. Have to do a little bit of adjusting while you sew it. All right, whenever you get to the zipper, this is going to be, you just have to be very careful and go very, very slow because you don't want your needle to go in the zipper because it could break that. Yeah, just have to be very careful. Okay, so now that we're past that, we're gonna continue stitching around the perimeter until we get to that red stop. Here we are at the stop. I'm just going to pull that clip out and I'm just going to back stitch right here. Here comes the fun part of turning it right side out. First though, I am just going to go through and trim these corners just ever so slightly. This will just help whenever we go to turn things right side out. It'll help those corners to stay nice and crisp. You just want to make sure not to cut that stitching. That would be bad. So now that those corners are snipped, we're going to put our hand in that opening that we left in the lining. And because we left the zipper partially opened, we can stick our hand all the way through to the quilted part of the bag, and we are going to turn it right side out. So satisfying. And you're just going to kind of use your hand to pull, get all those edges out. Oh, you guys, this is looking so good. Use my finger, kind of push those edges. Oh, we are so close. So the very, very last thing that we need to do is to close the hole in the lining. And to do that, it is pretty easy. Just gonna trim those corners. So whenever you pull the lining, it's gonna naturally make a seam the fabric's gonna fold because of the seam allowance. And this goes in the inside of the bag, so it doesn't have to be pretty. So I'm just going to make sure that it's nice and folded, and then you can clip it a few times too, just to kind of hold it in place. But I am just going to take a zigzag and zigzag across the closing right here just to secure it and to make sure that no items kind of get lost in your bag. Here is how the zigzag turned out. Like I said, it doesn't have to be super pretty because it's just going to be tucked on the inside of the bag. No one will ever see it. And now that's exactly what we're going to do. We're just going to tuck this lining inside of the bag, kind of push those corners in so it can lie nice and flat. And guess what, you guys? The zipper pouch is done. Look at this. And then we just have the zipper right here. It opens and closes beautifully. And for a fun final touch, I just have this thin strip of vinyl. I'm just going to fold it in half. We're going to make a zipper pull. I'm going to fold it in half. I'm going to slide it through the hole of the zipper and then take those two ends and pull it through that loop. There we go. A fun little zipper pull. I'm just going to trim it to be that long. And there we go. There is the finished zipper pouch that is lined with the most beautiful floral fabric. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. So there you have it. I hope you guys loved this tutorial on how to make this zipper pouch bag. Make sure to give Carolina some love and tell her how awesome she did with this pattern over at Craftmore on Instagram. If you guys want this bag, it is available in our pre-cut quilt kit over at quilt101.com. And we hope you guys have a great day. Bye.